is The Sneeze. I hope you guys like it. My cast is Alexa, Kristen, Elizabeth, and Tony. And I will also be performing in it. One of my actors last night caught a fever and had to drop out. So it's been a busy road with the show, but I hope you guys kind of hopefully enjoy what we've worked with. Yeah? Okay.
If Ivan Ilyich Churchikov, a civil servant, a clerk in the Ministry of the Public Parks, had any passion in life at all, it was the theater. He certainly had hopes and ambitions for higher office and had dedicated his life and hard work to zeal and patience. Still, he would not deny himself his one great pleasure. So he purchased 2 tickets in the very best section of the theater for the opening night performance of Rostov's The Bearded Countess. As fortune would have it, into the theater that night came his respected superior, General Mikhail Brazahov, the Minister of the Public Parks himself.
Good evening, General.
What? Oh, yes. Yes, good evening.
Permit me, sir. I'm Churchikov, Ivan Ilyich. This is a great honor for me, sir.
Yes.
Like yourself, dear General, I too serve the Ministry of Public Parks. That is to say, I serve you, who is indeed himself the Minister of Public Parks. I am the Assistant Chief Clerk in the Department of Trees and Bushes.
Ah, yes. Keep up the good work. Very nice. Lovely trees and bushes this year.
My wife would very much love to say hello, General. This is she, my wife, Madame Churchikov.
How do you do? My pleasure.
My pleasure, General.
How do you do?
Madame Brazahov, my wife, Madame Churchikov.
How do you do, Madame Brazahov?
How do you do?
I've just had the pleasure of meeting your husband.
And I am my wife's husband. How do you do, Madame Brazahov?
Sorry, terribly sorry.
I hope you enjoy the play, sir.
I will, if I can watch it.
Feeling quite pleased with himself for having made the most of this golden opportunity, Ivan Ilyich Churchikov sat back to enjoy The Bearded Countess. He was no longer a stranger to the Minister of the Public Parks. They had become, if one wanted to put it generous about the matter, familiar with each other. And then, quite suddenly, without any warning, like a bolt from the gray thundering sky, Ivan Ilyich Churchikov reared his head back and...
Achoo! Oh my goodness! I'm sorry, Your Excellency. I'm so terribly sorry.
Never mind, it's all right.
All right? It most certainly is not all right. It's unpardonable. It was monstrous of me.
You make too much of the matter. Let it rest.
How can I let it rest? It was inexcusable. Permit me to wipe your neck, General. It's at least...
Leave it be. It's all right, I said.
I splattered you, sir. Your complete head is splattered. It was an accident, I assure you, but it's disgusting.
My apologies.
The thing is, Your Excellency, it came completely without warning. It was out of my nose before I could stifle it. Shh. Hush. Yes, I'm sorry. It's not a cold, if that's what you were worrying about. It's probably just a particle of dust in the nostril. Shh.
But try as he might, Churchikov could not put the incident out of his mind. The sneeze, no more than an innocent anatomical accident, grew out of all proportions in his mind, until it resembled the angry roar of a cannon aimed squarely at the enemy camp. He played the incident back in his mind, slowing the procedure down so he could view again in horror the infamous deed.
Charming. Yes, charming. Simply charming. Wasn't it charming?
I found it utterly charming.
I was completely charmed by it.
Who's tapping? Somebody's tapping me. Who's that tapping?
I'm tapping, sir. I'm the tapper. Churchikov.
No, stand back, dear. This is a sneezer.
No. It's all right. I'm all sneezed out. I was just concerned about your going into the night with a damp head.
Oh, that. It was a trifle. A mere faux pas. Forget it, young man. Amusing play, don't you think? Did you find it amusing?
Amusing? Oh my god! Yes! So true. I haven't laughed this much in years.
Which part interested you the most?
The sneeze. When I sneezed on you, sir, it was unforgivable, sir.
Forget it. Young man, come, my dear. It looks like rain. I don't want to get my head wet again.
You're not to be sneezed at.
I'm ruined. I'm ruined. He'll have me fired from trees and bushes. He'll send me down to twigs and branches. What?
You mustn't let it concern you. It was just a little sneeze. He's probably forgotten it already. You really think so? No, I'm scared.
And so they walked home in despair.
Maybe if I send him a nice gift, perhaps some Turkish towels.
Cherchikov's once promising career had literally been blown away.
I mean, why did this happen to me? Why did I even go to the theater at all? Why didn't I sit in the balcony with all of the people of our own class? They love sneezing on each other.
Come to bed, Yvonne.
Perhaps if I were to go to the general and explain matters again, but in such a charming and honest and self-effacing manner, he would have no choice but to forgive me.
Maybe it's best not to remind him, Yvonne.
No. If I ever expect to become a gentleman, I must behave like one.
And so the morning came. It so happened that this day the general listened to petitions, and since there were 50 or 60 petitions ahead of Cherchikov, he waited from morning till late afternoon.
Next! Next!
I'm not next, Your Excellency. I'm last.
Very well then. Last!
That's me, sir.
Well, what is your petition?
Well, I have no petition, sir. I'm not a petitioner.
Then you waste my time.
Do you not recognize me, sir? We met last night under rather explosive circumstances. I'm the splatterer.
The what?
The sneezer. The one who sneezed. The sneezing splatterer.
Indeed. And what is it you want now? A gesundheit?
No, Excellency, your forgiveness. I just wanted to point out that there was no political or antisocial motivation behind my sneeze. It was a non-partisan, non-violent act of God. I curse the day this protuberance formed itself on my face. It is a hateful nose, sir, and I am not responsible for its indiscretions. Punish that which committed the crime, but absolve the innocent body behind it. Exile my nose, but forgive me, your kindship, forgive me.
My dear young man, I'm not angry with your nose. I'm too busy to have time for your nasal problems. I suggest you go home and take a hot bath. Or a cold one. Take something. But don't bother me with this silly business again about your nose. Chipper, chipper, that's all I hear. Chipper, chipper, oh my.
Thank you, sir! May your God bless you and your sweet wife and your household. May your days be sweet and your nights be as sweet as your day.
The feeling of relief that came over Cherchikov was enormous.
May the birds sing outside your window in the morning, and may your coffee be strong and hot in your cup.
The weight of the burden that was lifted was inestimable.
I worship the chair you sit on, and the uniform you wear that sits on the chair that I worship.
He walked home singing and whistling like a lark. Life was surely a marvel, a joy, a heavenly paradise.
Oh, God, I am happy.
And yet, when he arrived home, he began to think.
Have I been the butt of a cruel and thoughtless joke?
Had the minister toyed with him?
If he had no intention of punishing me, why did he torment me so unmercifully?
If the sneeze meant so little to the minister, why did he deliberately cause Cherchikov to writhe in his bed?
To twist in agony the entire night.
Cherchikov was furious.
I'm furious!
He foamed and fumed and paced the night through, and in the morning he called out to his wife, Sonia.
Sonia! I have been humiliated!
You, Yvonne? Who would humiliate you? You're such a kind and generous person.
Who? I'll tell you who. General Brazelhoff, the Minister of Public Works.
What did he do?
The swine! I was humiliated in such a subtle fashion. It was almost indiscernible. The man's cunning is equal only to his cruelty. He practically forced me to come into his office to grovel and beg on my knees. I was reduced to what he thinks of me. But the lower class must speak up. The world must be safe so that men of all nations and creeds, regardless of color or religion, will be free to sneeze on their superiors.
And so, the next morning, Churchikov came to humiliate he.
Last. Your petition?
Well, do you not recognize me, Your Excellency? Look at my face. Oh, yes, it is quite right. It is I, once again.
It is you, once again?
Churchikov, Excellency. I have returned